Howdy, my name is John Oliver. Today is August the 16th. We're about 2:30 p.m. coming from Dallas, Texas in the dining commons of Central Community College. The name of this is Historical Precedents, and what I mean by that is major transportation and communication breakthroughs. Let me give you a quick world history review of where when these kinds of things happen. If you want to know more, then I will put the Wikipedia links in the description. Starting off, major breakthrough was Roman roads from 500 BC to about 400 AD. That's one good example of them. Previously just dirt roads and trails or whatever, but they had well-made and well-maintained roads so they could move their military and their commerce. And with that, the people and the things and the ideas moved around and totally transformed the known world around the Mediterranean. The Silk Road is what connected the Europe with China, and the red lines there are over land. The blue lines are the waterways, and so that went on for many hundreds of years. Then we had Columbus in 1492, and not just that one person expedition, but all the other explorers about that time as a new world was discovered and developed, and all the other places around the world were also as navigation and transportation over the oceans was developed. And then the next big breakthrough in my thinking is Lewis and Clark's expedition to find the Northwest Passage. That was huge, and they did make it during that 1804 to 1806. And just that thinking and their reports or whatever changed things enormously, changed lives. Pony Express came along in 1860s, 61. That was a way of connecting people, a way of communicating with people. Then that was pretty much replaced pretty quickly by the telegraph, Transcontinental Telegraph, to connect people using telegraph. And a few years later, the telegraph went across the ocean to England and to elsewhere. So those kinds of events, and then the Transcontinental Railroad. My thinking along these lines began with that image of when the East Coast train met the West Coast train, and they knew then that they could connect the whole country. It wasn't just, oh gosh, we have one line to go from far east to far west, but what that opened up everything in between, and all the possibilities and all the other things, because that was completed, because those connections were made. Suez Canal came along in 1869. That opened up an enormous trading, opened up the Mediterranean down there and that whole region all around there. The telephone came along about World War I in the early 1900s. Became grown ever since, and of course, Panama Canal in 1914 totally changed things forever for the world because the canal was completed. Oops, my mistake. Radio, I was in the 40s is when it became popular and commercial and real. 50s, the television became more commercial and real and impacting lives. So it was communication and a connecting device. There's a freeway system began in 56, and now just imagine the freeways and what that does and has done and will do in your life and others around us. I'm showing you precedents that I would add. Satellite TV was huge, to be able not just to have local television, but then to be able to broadcast around the world, around the nation, around the world. Again, that does also tie into cell phones and ties into the internet. I think the internet being when Netscape Navigator came out in 94 was really the beginning and grown ever since then, of course, in cell phones and how ubiquitous, how important that is, and how even the very poorest people around the world are getting cell phones, and what does that portend? We'll talk more about that later, but we're tying in there too. And then the last two slides I have here are about the Brooklyn Bridge and the Golden Gate Bridge in 1833 and in 1937. They connected that whole, wasn't just national or global, but local, how those connections expanded that area. If you have seen my video on the length of the global education canals, I also want to, besides just having libraries, which is a really wonderful thing, but to have recording studios so people that are locally, the chiefs, the elders, the pastors, the magistrates, the professors, I don't know who the experts are in their area, but they can record and they can share. It can be distributed through the library and be sold, and there can be so we're passing along knowledge and skills and insights, just like the Brooklyn Bridge transformed that from then on, not just for a few years or for a couple of decades, but from then till today. Same thing with the Golden Gate Bridge, transformed all of that from then until today. That's what I'm inviting you to participate with me in doing. I'm asking you to join the launch team made up of intercessors, advisors, and donors. So you can pray for me and earnestly and often. And three things I would say to pray for me is have focus, and have discipline, and have productivity. Those are my three perennial, forever and ever prayer requests. And just pray over these things. There's advisors, and if you're an advisor in some of these areas, and for God to connect me with advisors that are experts in these fields, and for donors, I need money. Now and later, I'll always need more money to make this go further and faster and wider and deeper. So thank you very much. And so you can pray for me. One big prayer request is for God to connect me with generous donors. So